Good morning and welcome to Today in the News here on Vanguard Live. My name is Ololade Adeomi. You're looking to the newspapers for today. Let's start with Vanguard. Major headline on Vanguard says how APC swept by elections, wins 12 seats, APGA APGA 2, PDP 1, and NPP 1. Tinubu fets winners as opposition parties kick flawed by elections. Dress rehearsal for 2027 polls. ADC says there may be no elections in 2027 if PDP says it's mockery of democracy. LP says our by-elections win endorsement of Tinubu, says APC. Tabana says insurance industry comes under pressure from rising cost claims. Federal government, Jonathan ACF celebrates IBB at 84. Zenith Bank marks 35th anniversary celebrates pioneer customers, long-serving staff. Rice farmers blame price hike on cartel and middlemen. Lower banner says Nelford loans will pay fees students are charged. Lausa says Zelensky rejects territorial concession as Putin offers security guarantee. NLC strike notice. NSITF admits 50% deductions. 40 missing, 10 rescued in Sokoto boat mishap. You can find the story on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. Away from the Vanguard, straight into the Punch. Major headline on the Punch says workers' compensation. Federal government backtracks as NLC holds ground. NSITF moves to avert strike, says AGF will refund workers. NLC leaders meet. Top banner says court orders full disclosure of 37 billion naira renovation by National Assembly. APC opposition clash over by-election results in 12 states. Shipping crisis delays Dangote 3,550 CNG trucks. Lower banner says Nigeria deports 42 convicted Chinese Philippine cyber criminals. 2 Nigerians die of suspected poisoning in Libya. Away from the Punch, into the Nation newspaper. Major headline on the Nation says APC trounces opposition in legislative by-elections. Ruling party wins 1 Senate, 4 House of Representatives, 7 House of Assembly seats. APGA takes 1 Senate, House of Assembly seats. PDP wins in Oyo. ADC fails to fly. Top banner says fresh drive to tackle menace of out-of-school kids begins. 42 Chinese Filipinos convicted of cybercrimes deported. Major investors eye stakes in insurance sector. Capital raising begins. Away from the Nation, straight into the Guardian newspaper. Major headline on the Guardian says over 10 banks, insurers risk a forced merger in race for new capital. Serap seeks probe of pay to President motions Pill's claim. Alausa, we are bringing Nigeria's out-of-school kids back to classroom. Lower banner says by-elections, opposition fragility exposed as APC tightens hold with 12 of 16 seats. Affair Babalo canvasses better education sector to check insecurity. EFCC, NIS deport 42 cyber criminals, 150 to follow. That's all we have on the front page of our newspapers today. Join us after the break for a quick analysis of some of our top stories. Welcome for joining me. This is Today in the News here on Vanguard Live. My name is Ololade Adeomi. Joining me in the studio for a quick analysis today is Mr. Leo Mohammed, CEO Magnet Communications. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ololade. How are you?
Good morning. Look into a top story. In the recent by-elections held across 12 states, the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) clinched the commanding 12 out of 16 seats. APC dominated in Ogun, Edo, Niger, Kaduna, Taraba, Jigawa, Adamawa, and Kogi. In Kano, the APC and NNPP split result, with ADC failing to make significant inroads. APGA won 2 seats in Anambra, and the PDP secured 1 seat in Ibadan North, Oyo. In your view, how credible are some of the allegations that were made by the oppositions?
Well, since we all were not at the venue of the polls, it is difficult to roundly condemn all those allegations. But they were there, they were all over the places where elections took place. And the fact that APC won should not be unexpected because ADC is less than how many months? Is it up to 3 months? You don't go for an election, or no party that is less than 6 months can go for an election and make any impact. That is the truth of the matter. APC has been on for over 20 years of our democracy. You have come together, some parties have come together to form an opposition, leaving them battered in the process because my majority members of these parties have joined the new ADC, leaving the parties divided. You don't go to an election in such a state, and I'm surprised that they all contested. When you are contesting with a party that is that is not battered, that is APC, so the victory is not unexpected as far as I'm concerned. It's like these parties contesting against APC. It's like coming into a house where I live and you say you want to know the house more than me. No, it is not possible. Also, they should have, I don't know how to describe, they should have at least be on the ground for some time. Let the people get to know you very well. Let the people get to know your party very well. And then you go for an election. But these elections seem to have been constitutionally fixed. So there was no way the parties could be given some time to get um, acclimated with the voters before going for a battle. It's like when you want to fight, I want to fight you. I need to know you very well. I need to know where I can box that will get you down. That is the problem with the new parties. They are just coming in. You have not mastered the environment that you, especially the ADC, all the parties have been balkanized. A lot of them in ADC, some remain in the old party. And so no serious impacts were made by them in this election. I'm not a politician, but as an observer, I can tell you that all those other parties were not prepared for this election. And that's the reason why APC won so very well in all the parts where the by elections took place.
The ADC called for election legitimacy, like they questioned the legitimacy, even describing the election as a dress rehearsal. What are the long consequences for governance if the elections are continued to be seen as flawed? Flawed.
Like I said, that comment from ADC is unacceptable. You are in this house, right? You've been here for years, and I am coming in from outside to fight you. Who is going to win? Of course, you will. And so, whatever you may want to say about APC, whether they rigged or not, to the other parties too were not well prepared. So next time, I appeal to the parties to please get their acts together and make sure they have viable, credible candidates for every election. You see, we've had this democracy for almost 20 years now, and I have watched the elections that we have held. APC itself took over from PDP, if you will recall. They strategized, formed alliances with Tinubu leading a lot of the parties into alliances with themselves, and APC has become what it is today. So ADC that came in less than 6 months shouldn't aspire to defeat APC in any election, even if the election is fixed for tomorrow. Eh? There is no way any other party can win as they are today. Let us be frank with ourselves. I am not in support of any of the parties, but the truth of the matter is that you cannot know an environment where you are just coming in to forget about the names of the parties from where you come from. ADC, the leaders are still fighting, struggling about positions. And you now go ahead to say you are facing a party that has been there for almost 20 years or more. It is not possible for ADC to make any impact. They still have a lot to do. And I'm saying it again, they have to do a lot for them to make impact in any election that will be held in Nigeria. The way we practice politics here is too bitter. A lot of us are too desperate. Why would anybody that joined ADC to contest expect that you will defeat APC? It is impossible. It's like a daydream. It cannot work.
So we reports of thuggery and even arrest of some of the INEC officials. What does this say about the coordination between the electoral bodies and even the security agencies?
You see, if you hold this election within any other African country apart from Nigeria, you will have the same scenario because we are still learning to grow to a stage where we will have each free elections in this part of the world. If you go to the US, it's a lot more peaceful. United Kingdom, it is a lot more peaceful. And in comparing Nigeria with all those countries, you have to sit down and look at the number of years those countries have been practicing democracy. They've been holding elections, they've made mistakes, they've fallen, they have risen again several times. Here, we have people who are in politics to spend any amount to win election. And at the end of the day, when they get to office, every cover they spent on election will be recouped. And that is the cause of the desperation that we have here. With that style, it is difficult to have a free and fair election where money speaks. With your money, you can hire thugs, give them ballot boxes, give them ballot papers. They will stuff all those boxes with ballot papers and be taken to the original venue where votes will be counted. And that party will be announced as the winner because the other parties do not have that strength, economic strength, the strategy of the party that is winning. You understand? So it is going to be a joint decision between all politicians to give a peaceful election a chance in this country. For as long as we continue to be desperate to win elections because we want to go to an office and make money. And that is why they are you see people putting 1 billion, putting it at stake for an election. Is he going there to do some marketing? No. He's going there because he knows that if he gets there, he will make more than 1 billion. So election have been turned into uh, what they call kashi. They have turned it to kashi, where you a game that you play and make plenty of money in this country. And it's a pity. We are not helping ourselves. If you go out today, you see a lot of people. People call you to ask for 1,000. Some call 500, 2,000. People are hungry. But you have a few who have billions stocked in banks. There was a video that I saw of currencies that have been stocked somewhere in Nigeria and the currencies were rusting. They have been soaked with rainwater in a country where some people cannot feed. It is unfortunate. The earlier we allow sanity into the processes of our election, the better for this country. Because for as long as a group of people get into power and make billions, and you have some people who cannot even feed for how many hours in a day, then we have to be careful. I don't want to
Based
sound negative.
based on your analysis, who bears the responsibility for ensuring a free and fair poll?
All of us, you and I. Hmm? If I am going for an election and I am sure that I have done what I need to do, I have good programs for the people. I have the strategies for the implementation of those programs. I will comfortably, without spending money, go for that election. But there is no part of the world, maybe in the Western world, that you do an election today and you won't spend money, at least within Africa. There is no part of the world within Africa that you do an election and you won't spend money. I have not seen that part of the world, except maybe in the US, the United Kingdom, but in Africa, you can't get it. So, for as long as elections are based on how much you can spend, how much you can put into it, it will continue to be the way it has gone over the weekend.
So, how do we return confidence in the electoral process?
We need to have confidence in ourselves, because if you have confidence in yourself and you have good programs for the people, and you are sure that you can implement that program without aiming at looting, which is more common with us in Nigeria. Somebody gets into power, maybe before he got into power, he was riding a Toyota Corolla. The next day, you see him in Prado Jeeps with police orderlies. And you start wondering, this man, we used to play games together at the club. He has become somebody in the government now. He doesn't come to that club again. You can't see him. You can't meet him. If you meet him, he is with a retinue of mobile policemen protected. Why do you need protection? We are moving. Some of us are moving around, going into dangerous places. Nobody has killed us. So if your mind is free, I don't think as a politician you need all the battalion of policemen and soldiers and navy men around you. You need, if you must come clean from all fronts if you are a politician, and you want to have peace within your environment. You must come clean. So a lot of them, they are not coming clean. That's why you see, when I was coming here today, somebody, a member of the National Assembly, you know how I got to know the number plates, National Assembly. They used pilot car to drive us to the right hand. And I was looking at you, representative of the people. How do you want to relate with that set of people that you are supposed to take care of? You can't even descend so low to meet them until maybe when you have another election. They will still go around with mobile policemen to campaign. So how are you free with the people? You are afraid in the environment that you are an environment where you are supposed to give food, assist the poor, give them good education, give them good hospitals. You are afraid to live there. You were in Ikeja before you got elected. The moment you have been elected and sworn in, he moves to Ikoyi, because it's no more long, it's no more feeling safe in the area where he contested. He will be in Ikoyi for 4 years. When it is election again, he comes back. And we continue to give them our votes. So we must change our style, look at these people, tell them the plain truth, and vote according to our conscience.
So, do you think there are any institutional reform that should be put in place in order to, ensure a free and fair election?
There have been so many in this country, and it all failed. You see, for a people that have become used to money, I doubt if there is anybody today that they will give ₦1 million to sway his mind uh, on a vote that is important, that won't accept 1 million. Can you reject it? Answer now. You can't. That is the truth of the matter. For as long as people do not have the courage to turn down bribes, we will continue to be where we are. That is the truth. I am not joking. Because an average Nigerian, except those who have stolen, an average Nigerian is sweating to make money in this country today. I can tell you that I am one of them. Read about my suit. I am one of them. So you have to sit down, write proposals, go for meetings, lobby people, and What do you get at the end of the day? You are doing your job and somebody is saying, I want 10%, 20% of what you have earned legally, and you will be forced to give it because you want them to give you another one. This is not so with politics. With politics, a politician will get to an office, use the civil servants, get a lot of money, and at the end of the day, those civil servants will not be taken care of. So we need a real reorganization of our political structures in this country. Serious one, I don't know who will do it. I don't know how we can do it. We need to be in an environment where we can have a free and fair election, devoid of financial powers. I don't know when it will happen. Maybe not in my generation. Because the kind of politicians we have today, they have the financial muscle to turn any electoral system in their favor. And for as long as we continue to have that, we continue to have problems. Let me tell you something. I went to an old people's home to see somebody. I saw men, women who are in their 60s in old people's home. Start asking questions. What happened? At 61, you should be doing one business or the other. But on interrogation as a journalist, I discovered that the system failed a lot of them. Systemic failure. Somebody who invested money in his business and he was swindled and he became helpless. He couldn't pay rent. He was ejected. From there, he was taken to an old people's home. And today he's looking like an 85-year-old man and he's 61. We have that set of people somewhere affected by our political structure, our political maneuverings, and our reckless way of making money without consideration for those who are at the lower level of the system. It is sad. So we need to rejig our political system in a way that will favor everybody, including you and me, not all those who have billions that will continue to make billions.
I look into a second story. The Nigerian Labour Congress issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government. It demanded a refund of allegedly diverted workers' funds from both NSITF and pension sources, as well as immediate constitution of the National Pension Commission (PENCOM) governing board. Otherwise, they warned of a nationwide industrial action. The Budget Office Director General and the Finance Minister assured that no further deduction would occur and pledged to resolve outstanding clawbacks. What systemic governance weaknesses, have allowed scenarios like the 50% ECS deduction to unfold within the
See,
NSTIF?
this is not a new issue. We've had this over the years, and once workers raise their voices, the thing is resolved. They probably will come back and bring out money to sort out those who are affected. But the truth of the matter is that somebody who is working and you are deducting money from his salary, the money that he could have used to enjoy himself, 5 or 10% of that money is being saved, that person deserved to have nothing but everything that has been saved in his name. I don't I don't know what happened to the thought process of some Nigerians when it comes to making money. You want to make money from the savings of other people, it is criminal. It is criminal. It is unforgivable. And so I support whatever action those who are affected by this decision want to take because it is your sweat. It is their sweat. They need to have access to. Do you know that people retire from government jobs today, and for 1 year, their gratuities and other emoluments are not paid? I have such a person. I now give money to every month. He worked. I don't want to mention that state. He worked with a state, and for almost 2 years, he's been going up and down to have his gratuities paid. It is criminal. Any government that is engaged in such a thing is nothing but a wicked government. So government should look into this case and ensure that everything that has been taken away is recovered to resolve this problem. I commend the NLC for taking the decision, for giving some time to commence a strike, but the strike again will be counterproductive. I think they should engage those who are involved and get, if you go on strike and the money doesn't come back, what do you do? Your strike will not achieve anything. But I advise that they should engage those in charge of the NSIT, right? Of NSIT, and
CIF.
ensure that whatever people deserve is given to them. I will not be happy if I have worked for 35 years, at the age of 60, I'm retiring, and my entitlements are not paid. I won't feel happy. And do you know that it kills a lot of people these days? Somebody who is used to staying in a free government house, and suddenly on retirement you have been rejected and you don't have money to rent your own house if you have not built it. And that's why you see people rushing to steal money once they are in power. They will bring fake papers to steal money because they are what they depend on after retirement may not get to them until you have to sweat like this before you get. It's unfortunate that we still have this situation here. We should rise above all this petty stealing of government money, people's money. We should rise above it.
So is returning deducted funds enough to rebuild trust, or do you think there are additional measures that need to be taken so that issues like this don't repeat itself?
This is the way it is done all over the world. If you go to the US, we have things like this. But as your money is deducted, you have access to that account. You are able to monitor it so that at the end of your years of working, you already know the entitlement that you will earn. If it is $10,000, you will know. And by the day you are leaving, if that money is not in your account, you can be sure that it will get there the next day. That is a perfect system as far as I'm concerned. I have friends that worked in the US. They got there when they were young and they have retired now. The money they got, they brought that money to Nigeria, use it to build. I have two friends like that, build a beautiful house. One is selling paints, the other one is a contractor. That is the way it should be. If the system failed him there, will he be able to come here to establish anything? No. You don't take people's money, especially when you know that the decision to take that money will affect or change the life or lives of those affected. It is wicked.
So, our last question for today: how effective is the appointment of the new PENCOM chairperson, Okoyemi Agbaje, in restoring confidence and among the workers and employers?
You want my opinion? PENCOM is just another government controlled agency. I don't see PENCOM making any impact. If they are making impact, why do we have this crisis? Why is the NLC going on strike? It is the duty of PENCOM to ensure that if you haven't worked for 60 years, you must ensure that the day you are leaving, you have your payment, everything that has been deducted from you, and whatever the company with which you work want to give you, you should have it the same day. So that you have something. If you are establishing a business, you go and do it. But in Nigeria, you would have retired 2 years, you are still begging for the payment of your pension. Your own money, not government money. Pay what I have contributed. You will go today. Some of them die in the process of shortly between their home and their old offices. That should stop. Every worker deserves his wage, paid by the employer and deducted from his salary. It is callous for anybody to take whatever has been deducted from somebody who has worked for 35 years. You are denying him of that. Is the highest level of satanic manipulation.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Mr. Liam Mohammed. That was Mr. Liam Mohammed, CEO Magnet Communication. Thank you very much for staying with us.
You're
Remember, you
most
can follow
welcome.
us on all our social media platforms
Mm.
as seen on your screen and on our website at www.vanguardnigeria.com. My name is Ololade Adeomi. Have a lovely day.